Hey, what's going on, guys? It's ETA Prime back here again. Today I just wanted to do a quick review of the 2017 Fire HD10 tablet. These are available on Amazon for 99 bucks for Cyber Monday and Black Friday deals still going on. I got mine on Black Friday and I'm really enjoying this thing. It's a 10-inch tablet, it's got a quad-core CPU and a decent GPU. The model I have here has 32 gigabytes of onboard storage, but I am using a 128 gigabyte micro SD card because there's a slot for it. On the top of the tablet, coming from the left to the right, we have our volume control, our 3.5mm audio jack, a microphone pinhole, a micro USB charging port, and our power button. On the bottom of the unit, or the side, depending on how you're holding it, there are dual stereo speakers. The sound is really nice and crisp out of this thing, and it's kind of amplified by the plastic shell in the back. So one of the main reasons I got this was because it was on sale for 99 bucks, and I've always wanted to test this thing out. The CPU is a MediaTek MT8173 quad core. 2 cores are at 1.8 GHz, those are A72 cores, and 2 cores are at 1.4 GHz, those are Cortex A53 cores. The GPU is a PowerVR Rogue G6250. This GPU did come out in 2014, but it's still a mid-range GPU for a tablet. 2 gigabytes of DDR3 RAM. The screen is beautiful. It's an IPS 10.1-inch display at 1920 by 1080 or 1080 by 1920, depending on how you're holding it. The unit does come preloaded with 32 gigabytes of internal storage, but it does have a micro SD card slot, and the highest card that I tested was a 128, and it works perfectly. For Wi-Fi, we have 802.11a, B, G, N, and AC. It's a dual band chip inside of here. The operating system is Fire OS 5.6.0.0, which is essentially Android 5.1. It also sports Bluetooth 4.1, and it has a front and rear camera. Now, they're not the greatest quality cameras at all. With some good light, they might snap some decent pictures. I recently did a video on installing Google Play on these tablets. Now they have the Fire 7, the 8, and the 10, and the method will work on all 3 of those tablets. I have it installed on this tablet now for this review. If you want to check that out, I'll leave a link in the description. You can do it in under 5 minutes with no root. So looking at the specs on this tablet, it's going to be able to handle Netflix, YouTube, any kind of video playback really. You could install Kodi on this tablet and be perfectly fine watching 1080p videos. What I'm worried about is native Android games and emulators. So in this video, I'm going to be testing a few native Android games and a bunch of emulators. So the first thing I did off the bat was run a few benchmarks. We have Antutu here with a 63,892. Not that impressive, but it's around the mid-range Android market right now. 3D score was 10,381. I thought it'd be a little better with that PowerVR, but that PowerVR is from 2014. So it's not that impressive, but it is really good for a $99 tablet. That's what I got it for as of making this video. They're usually $150, and even at $150, it's not a bad deal. We'll go to Geekbench 4. Single core, 1,242. Multi-core, 2,272. Now, I thought the multi-core would be a little better with that 1.8 gigahertz processor, but only 2 cores are running at 1.8. And finally, I also ran a 3D Mark. I did Slingshot Xtreme and Ice Storm Unlimited. For Slingshot Xtreme, we only scored a 530. For Ice Storm Unlimited, 13,176. There are plenty of devices out there that'll beat this in benchmark scores, but let's see how it really performs playing games and emulators. The first game I tested was Lineage 2 Revolution. Now this uses the Unreal 4 engine, and it's pretty smooth. Now I noticed that the resolution is a little low on here. It's definitely not running at 1080p, but it's playable. This is something that I'm not going to play, but it's a very popular game right now, so I figured I'd give it a try. I do notice some stutter from time to time when you're running around, but I also noticed the same thing on my OnePlus 5 phone, which has plenty of power to run this. This is an always online game, so I really think it's the servers doing this and not the GPU or CPU in this tablet. The next game I tested was Asphalt Xtreme. I am using a Bluetooth controller with this tablet. It's the GameSir G3S controller. I'll leave a link in the description if you want to pick one of those up. Runs flawlessly. Really good performance. I expected it to run this game. This is a very highly optimized game. It's been out for a while. At least Asphalt 8 has, but it's using the same engine. You won't have any trouble playing this game at all. I also had to throw some Minecraft in this test because a lot of people always ask for it. I had no doubt in my mind that this tablet would be able to play Minecraft perfectly, and as you can see, works great. Now it's time to move on to some emulation. I'm using RetroX for my emulators. I love this front end here. The first thing I wanted to try to emulate was PSP. I have a few games in here. Everything in here works great except for God of War Chains of Olympus, Midnight Club 3 Dub Edition, and Tekken 6. Those are 3 games that are really hard to emulate with the PP-SSPP emulator, but all my other games in here work pretty well. I'm going to go ahead and show you Burnout Legends running. Alright, so this game usually runs at 30 FPS, and I can tell you right now, I've tested this on a lot of systems, it's definitely running at full speed. It's working really well on this Fire HD10. Now I didn't think it was going to handle PSP very well, but obviously it is in some games, minus God of War Chains of Olympus, Midnight Club 3, and Tekken 6. Pretty much anything else that is compatible with the PP-SSPP emulator will probably run fine on this tablet. Next up, Dreamcast. The original Dreamcast did use a PowerVR GPU. Now this is totally different from the one in this tablet, but I have noticed that when I use a tablet or an Android box with a PowerVR GPU, Dreamcast seems to run pretty good. So I did test Soul Calibur 2, San Francisco Rush 2049, Sonic Adventure 2, and Shamu. The thing with Shamu is there is a glitch with this recast emulator, that's the emulator we're using here, where around his eyes is all glitchy. Same thing here, but the game does run at full speed. But I wanted to test out Marvel vs. Capcom 2. This is my favorite Dreamcast game. This is my favorite fighting game, so I had to show it. So with a lot of Mali GPUs, I noticed a lot of glitching with the characters. With this PowerVR, the graphics are perfect. It's not running at 60 FPS. I'd say we're about 55. Very unfortunate because this is my favorite game. It's totally playable, but if you want to play it competitively, you're going to need that 60 FPS frame rate. Other than the frame rate being under 60, the game works great. Moving on to the PlayStation 1, I'm still in RetroX using the emulator inside of here. This is Tekken 3, runs flawlessly. This is definitely hitting that 60 FPS mark. Sound is dead on, and the game plays great. Nintendo 64. Now I moved to a different emulator because I really love Mupen 64 FZ on the Play Store. You can download it for free, and in my opinion, it's the best emulator on the market for Nintendo 64 on Android. This is 007, runs super smooth. I've tested a few other N64 games on this tablet so far, and I gotta say this is one of the best tablets for N64 emulation if you're using that Mupen 64 FZ build. The game is running really smooth. I don't notice any glitches, and usually when I turn down this hallway, everything starts slowing down a bunch, but we didn't get that here. This tablet is great for Nintendo 64 emulation. I'm very surprised it's running this well. Now I've tested tons of different systems, and on my OnePlus 5, I get about the same frame rate, same smoothness here, but that phone's $400 versus a $99 tablet. One of the best devices for N64 emulation, if you ask me. And the last game I'm going to test in this video is Conkers Bad Fur Day. I'm still using that Mupin 64FZ from the Google Play Store. This is running good. Now this is one of my go-to games to test if the hardware is good enough for N64. My speed's set at 100%. I don't have any speed hacks on. And Conkers is working great. Overall, I'm really impressed with the performance of the Fire HD10. Now, I got mine on sale for 99 bucks for Black Friday, but today is Cyber Monday, and I'm sure Amazon's probably going to have this for a few more days. $99 is hard to beat for the performance we're getting out of this. Several emulator systems are going to work fine on here. Native Android apps are going to work perfectly, and if you just want this for media playback like Netflix, YouTube, Hulu, Amazon Video, that's also going to work for you. So that's it for this video, guys. I really appreciate you watching. I'm going to leave links to this down below so you can pick one up on Amazon. They also have the Fire 7 and Fire 8 on sale, but I would recommend getting the Fire HD10. It is the most powerful one out of the bunch, and at $99, it's a pretty good deal. Like always, thanks for watching.